back. That was totally just so funny. So if you were watching us previously, hi guys, we're back. And we're sorry for our little tech issue there. But Louisa was right in the middle of telling us about efficacy and how your competency actually builds your confidence, and how she did that by starting small, and working up to writing her book. So Louisa, do you want to continue? Did you have more to say on that topic?
Yes. Well, so that's one of the ways to build your self-efficacy is get good at it, and then you will find that you just easily move into things as you get better at it. So you've got to try, just having baby steps as you go. And, one of the best ways to be able to do that in a way that makes you feel good, because, as we do these things, you were saying, Hanukkah, earlier that, we stress over these things. And when we have anxiety about, when we have self-doubt, we can have anxiety. And really what we want to be doing as entrepreneurs is moving into this stuff joyfully, right? I became an entrepreneur because I love what I do. And so I don't want to have anxiety as I'm doing it. I want to be joyful as I do it. And one really, really great tool that entrepreneurs can practice as they go out and forge ahead with these new ideas they have is to practice what we call non-contingent self-esteem. And that is when you go out and you try something new and it goes terribly wrong, or you're disappointed, or you're kind of embarrassed about, how you showed up. We can feel bad about ourselves, right? And that's contingent self-esteem. We try something, we're disappointed, we feel bad about ourselves. Now, non-contingent self-esteem is to say, we'll put something out there, we're disappointed, and continue to feel good about yourself. And now just focus in on, well, what did I do wrong? What happened there? So if, for me, it's about workshops. So I put out a workshop and, 5 people sign up, right? How disappointing, how embarrassing, right? So then instead of saying, oh my gosh, how embarrassing, this is terrible, I'm awful, people must hate my stuff. Instead I say, well, wait a sec, I must have gone wrong in the marketing of it, right? If I only got 5 people, what did I do wrong with the marketing? What did I do right? Where did I get these 5 people from? Maybe I need to do more of that. Maybe I'm targeting the wrong audience. You see, you stay really good, feel really good about yourself, and just focus on the task. So where do I think I went wrong? Let's rejig this marketing. Maybe I need to hire a more, better marketing expert, somebody who can help me do this better. And when you just focus on the task and feel good about yourself, it keeps your energy in the right place. For us as entrepreneurs, it's all about the energy. If I get up in the morning and I don't feel like getting out of bed, I don't get anything done. If I get up in the morning,
Nope.
I feel fabulous, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I get 100 things done.
I love that you just, and I think that is something that's so important for entrepreneurs, for everybody, is this whole thing of like, when things go wrong, instead of beating yourself up, you have to learn from the experience and learn, okay, what can I do better? What am I going to, improve on? The opportunity for growth and learning is always so much better, and to focus on that versus that beating yourself down. So important for entrepreneurs. Now, speaking about that, what are some of the tips and strategies that you would give your audience to overcome their self-doubt? So the first thing to kind of help you to get over it, because you kind of told us about how to overcome your setbacks now. Now, how do you overcome that self-doubt?
Well, so what is really important and what we don't realize is that self-doubt is very socially constructed. It has a lot to do with, oh my gosh, if I put this out there and it fails, how am I going to look? If I said to you, look, Hanukkah, you're going to try this new thing. I'm going to put you on a deserted island. Nobody's going to see you. You don't care.
No.
You're like, okay, right? But now you're doing it in front of all of your peers, in front of, everybody's watching you. So we are very much social creatures. And so that is really, it's not so much fear of failure, it's fear of social evaluation
Mm.
that's behind fear of failure. And so if we can have, and this is the work of Dr. Carol Dweck, if we focus more on learning and growing rather than looking good. So
Hmm.
take your focus off of, how is this going to look, and care less about that and care more about, okay, I'm going to try this and I'm going to learn and grow from it.
Mm.
You know,
I love that.
yeah, so I'm launching my first online program, and I'm taking a course on how to do that, and I'm learning so much. I think, I already realize now it's not going to be perfect, but it's okay because I've learned so much from how to do this that I know the next one is just going to be more seamless. It's going to be great, and the content is going to be fabulous. So I'm not worried. I'm worried more about serving my community. How can I serve? How can I best show up and share as much information and knowledge that I have? And even if it's not perfect, I'm just going to be totally focused on serving my community.
Mm. And I love that you just said that because this ties back into the energy, which I know is so important for us as entrepreneurs. I do this with my clients. I myself had to get schooled in this like super hard, is that energy that you bring to this project. So if Louisa was going at this new endeavor and she was like, oh my God, this has to look good. It's got to be perfect. I got to write the perfect emails right now. And I got to make sure that everything is 100% boom. And I've got to make X amount of money about it. So to do that, I got to get X amount of hot bodies to buy this thing. That energy is actually off-putting. And people can pick up on that. So the fact that you shift and you start to focus on this, how can I be of service? What am I going to learn? Just feel the difference in even me just speaking about it. And now Louisa is showing up and she's there for her community. Which means
Exactly.
even if there's a couple of mess ups, the community is going to love it and she's going to feel good about it. And then she's going to try it again and then get better and better and better. And this is definitely the huge difference that I see between, people who are successful and people who are not successful is they are able to step into this power and hone this. So that's so important. Thank you for sharing that, Louisa.
Yeah.
So go for it.
I was going to say, you mentioned, being perfect, and it's true. We think for some reason, even though we've never done something before, that we need to show up perfect. I don't mean even good. We can't even accept good. We're devastated if it's not perfect. And we really have to really have to give up on that idea of perfectionism. It's really not helpful.
So now I have a totally like out of space question here that's totally off topic, but I'm just thinking because this often when I speak to my clients, they'll come, well, I know exactly where it's coming from. It comes from when I was little, and they'll have the story. So as a parent, if you were a parent and you had a child right now, how do you get them to let go of perfection or help them to cultivate this skill so that they don't have this later in life like the rest of us?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it starts with building a growth mindset. I talked about that earlier. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want your kids to focus less on looking good and focus more on getting good, right?
Yeah.
And learning and growing, then what we do is when we praise our children, we don't praise them with a label. So we have to be very careful with praise. Some people think, oh, I should not give any praise. No, it's how you give praise that's really important. So instead of saying to my child, she does this amazing piece of artwork, instead of saying, wow, you're a genius, you're a Picasso, these kinds of labels make kids think, oh, my mom thinks I'm amazing because I did this artwork. So I always have to show up that way because I always
Mm.
want to look good in front of my mom, right? When we put these labels on them. Instead, to build a growth mindset, what I do is I give my children process praise. So what I
Mm.
say to them instead is I say, my gosh, this is a wonderful piece of art. How did you come about to choose these colors? How did you go? The composition is really incredible. How did you do that? And how long did you take? What kind of effort did you? I saw you working on this every day for 2 weeks. You put a lot of effort in. Way to go that you were really persistent. You see, I'm
Mm.
telling them their strengths. I'm telling them the things they did, and I'm praising the process.
Mm.
And now they're saying, oh, yes, I did spend some time composing and I did do this. And so they're still happy that I'm giving them praise, but we're more focused on the process. We
Mm.
don't want kids to think they're just born this way. You see, if I say
Mm.
you're a Picasso, you're this, it might be because you can't do anything if you're just born that way. And then kids tend to get a fixed mindset and they feel like, oh, geez, my mom wants me to do this other piece of artwork, but I don't know if I can do that. So I'm going to pretend I'm sick, because I might fail at it and then my mom won't, have me
Like
look
me.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Such a deep question there. Thank you. That's very helpful to, I don't have any kids, but I've got nieces and nephews. So that's like great to also when I'm interacting with them and praising them, because it comes all from all angles, right? When we're little. So when entrepreneurs speak to you about the things, they want to do and places that they want to take their business to, but they're too fearful to go after it. What is your advice?
Well, so another thing that I do every day is I actually mentally rehearse. So I visualize. So when I'm fearful about something, I actually sit and I actually do this every morning. So I have goals that I set for the year, their personal goals, their business goals. And every morning I actually visualize them already coming true. I
Mm.
visualize what I'm already doing and I mentally rehearse. So if I'm really fearful. Say, for example, like I used to be fearful about going to a meeting with the CEO, right? The CEO of a big company. I think, oh my gosh, what have I got to offer,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So what I do, and I don't do this while I'm driving, but I'll do this in the car before the meeting when I'm
So to the
swapping.
audience, do not do this while
Yeah,
you're operating any heavy machinery or driving.
exactly. Uh, And I'll just, before the meeting in the parking lot, I will mentally rehearse the conversation. I picture myself having a fabulous conversation with the CEO, and he or she are saying things like, "Oh my gosh, Louisa, this is coming to our company right at the right time. We really need this. Oh, your pricing is perfect." You know, this is
Love
what I
that.
visualize.
Yeah.
And then what happens is my anxiety drops. I feel it in my body. I feel that confidence in my body because the neuroscience shows that when we actually mentally rehearse and visualize something, we actually kind of tricks our brain because, in our brain, there's an area in our brain where we imagine things and also where we store things that we've done before. And those neurons actually overlap about 80%.
Mm.
So if you're imagining something, your brain kind of says, wait, have I done this before? Even though you've just imagined it, you can kind of trick your brain into thinking, I've already done this. I've already been
Mm.
successful. And that makes you feel more confident because when we've done things before, we say, I've done it before, I can do it again.
Mm.
So it's a great little trick. If you're feeling fearful, it can be a really great way to, trick your brain. And it's powerful, but I would say also what is very powerful is create a tribe. Have those socially supportive people. A lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs I know, they have new ideas. And what do? The first thing out of their mouths at Thanksgiving dinner, they tell all their family, right?
No, don't do
No,
that. Do not do that.
no. Your family is like, they're like the worst. They're like, well, that's a stupid idea, right? No. Especially when your ideas are fragile, your confidence is fragile at the beginning.
Yes.
Do not put it out there. Put it out there to your trusted tribe, group of people who really know what you're trying to do, who can really give you encouragement, but give you, solid advice, right? But who are on your side. Wow, like that is so powerful when you are fearful about something, to have a tribe. And I have a mastermind group of 3 other people that I get together with every month, and I throw ideas out, and they really encourage me throughout the month. So I think that's huge as well.
Yes.
To have a tribe, and they're trying stuff and failing too, and you're like, oh, good, I'm not the only one.
Yes. So both of those points are so important, because a very big question that I often ask my clients is like, well, who would you be, or how would you act if this was already done? Because that is the angle that you want to solve the problem from, and that's how you want to show up. And again, it goes back to that energy. And then the second point, and the reason why I run masterminds, is because of what Louisa just said. When you're an entrepreneur, you need a safe, non-judgmental space where you can show up and you can fail and you can be vulnerable. And that space cannot be your family and not be your friends, because they won't necessarily get it. Entrepreneurs, we're such a different animal. So definitely make sure that you give yourself that. Now, I'm super excited to also talk a little bit about your book. So can you give us a little bit more information? What is it called? There, she's holding it up. Wire Your Brain for Confidence. I'm excited to pick this up myself, because this is what I live for. So tell us a little bit more about what will you get from the book? Where can we find the book?
Yeah. Well, so the book actually takes you through the whole science of self-efficacy. So it teaches you step by step on how to actually build your self-efficacy and break down those barriers that you may have around moving into action, right? Because confidence without action gets you nowhere. That's what I always say to entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So the book actually takes you through some of the science behind self-doubt. What is it that propels self-doubt? And once you understand those psychological things, a lot of people have written to me after reading the book saying, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much self-doubt was holding me back, and in how my behaviors manifested to hold me back. And so then the book then goes into sort of a step-by-step of how to build your self-efficacy. So it's a great resource. It's got great exercises in it too for people who want to get really deep on this and really want to learn about it.
Oh my goodness. I'm so buying it immediately when we hang up. Okay. So, and we can find it on Amazon. Where can we?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Yeah, it's all online. You can get it on.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah, no, this is totally my type of book that I love reading. Now, you're also launching this new online program that you've alluded to earlier in our interview, and it's launching in October. And what is it all about? And congratulations. This is such a huge thing to have accomplished, both your book and now launching this online program. That must feel so great. So what is it all about? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
I do a lot of speaking and traveling, and what I realize too is I need to, if I want to reach a greater audience with the information that I have and to share my knowledge, I really, since I was depressed 20 years ago, I have really had a fire in my belly about helping women reduce depression rates, because when we're feeling depressed, and women are twice as likely as men to be depressed. So we have
Ouch.
twice the incident of people.
Ouch. That's not a nice
Yeah.
stat.
No, when I read that stat, I said, okay, I'm going to do something.
Mm.
And one of the number one culprits and contributors to female depression is rumination. So
Mm.
what you say to yourself after a disappointment, and if you're saying it to yourself over and over and over again, that's ruminating. That's going to kill your confidence, kill your happiness, make you depressed. It's a real problem. And I used to be a big ruminator. And I have trained myself
Me too.
on how to not ruminate. Yes. I will stand in a room of 300 women and say, who ruminates here? And, practically all the hands go up.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
more of a problem for women than it is for men.
Hmm.
So we
And
need
I
to,
just quickly want to interject because I think also just for the listeners, this is when you do things like you have a conversation with someone and then you replay that conversation in your mind and you're like, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I do that? That was so stupid of me. Oh, now they're going to think this and that. So that's also ruminating. Just I wanted to
yes,
throw that in there.
absolutely. Yes. Or some people, someone has done something to them, some injustice, and they think
Mm.
about it over. And some people that I've interviewed for this particular course that I'm creating have been ruminating for 3 years over this.
Ouch.
It used to just kill my happiness, my ruminating. So when I learned how to stop ruminating, and I have a number of different tools and evidence-based strategies, I decided that my first online course was going to be called Silence Your Inner Critic.
Oh, yes.
And and so it's all about how to stop that inner critic, how to retrain your brain, how to refocus your thoughts, how to talk to yourself more rationally. And throughout the entire course, the whole purpose is to eradicate that inner self critic once and for all.
Mm.
So I'm going to be launching that on October 2nd. People can go to louisajewel.com and sign up for my newsletter. And from there, they'll get the updates as to when it launches. It will launch and go live on October the 2nd. And you'll have access to the course for a lifetime as well. And so I'm really, really excited to
Yes.
put that out and to put this information in the hands of people who really want to, silence that inner critic for good.
Yes, and I think that's most people, right? Like that's like
Yeah.
you've just struck like 90% of the population needs this. And wow, Louisa, so this is just like again, what a wonderful resource that you'll be sharing there, and the work that you're doing in the world is just so important. Just coming from someone who has personally dealt with depression and have had to do all these steps, knowing someone like Louisa or working or reading her books or just working with her is such an important tool if you are there in your life. And even if you're not, like we all have the inner critic, even if we don't get depressed, right? So definitely thank you so much for sharing your work with us in the world and doing all these big things to get your work out there because it's so important, really.
Well, thank you so much, Annika, for having me on the show. And you're doing such incredible work. And I'm just so honored to be on your show. So thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you.